Hi, welcome to this week's Dragonblade Authors Unplugged. We've got a full house. We've got a full week this week, and Dayna has joined us from a previous week, too. So we've got lots of books to talk about. So we're going to dive right in. We have Anna St. Clair, Jude Knight, Ella Leon, and Alexa Aston, and Dayna Quince with us this week. Ladies, thanks so much for taking the time.
Hello.
Pleasure.
Be here.
Okay, so this week's first release is Anna's book, and it's book 6 in the Breaks of Mayhem. And
Book
it's
six.
Tempting a Lonely Lord. Can you tell us about this book and a little bit about the series too?
Yeah. The series is let me make sure I get you this right, because I've updated the series. It follows a friendship, a group of boys, a group of 4 young men, actually, who have forged this connection at school in their early years. And as they've grown and matured, they've continued that bond. And as life has thrown them in different directions, they've collected other people that have also joined their friendship. So what I decided to do with this series was try to, because I've added a lot of secondary characters along the way. So the 3 books that I've written, 4, 5, and 6, have been secondary characters that were from 1, 2, and 3.
Oh, nice.
So people can get a story, line from that. And then 7, 8, and 9 are 7's been written, 8 and 9 are on the way, but they'll be a little bit along the same lines. But and they'll be taking secondary characters probably out of books 4, 5, and 6. So
fantastic.
Yeah, so I think it'll be fun. I'm always getting people asking me for books on a secondary character, so this kind of addresses that need. But what happened was in book number 3, we had a heroine that was the Duke of Disorder. That heroine was her horrible husband that she was forced to marry dies, and she flees to her parents because she hadn't seen her parents in the 5 years that she'd been married to him. And she had been forced to marry him because of some kind of debt that her father had, and had to break an engagement with a marquis, or the Duke's son, that they had been seeing each other, and then they just kind of fell out of connection completely, because when she got married, she wasn't allowed to even correspond with her family. So she's there with her family now, kind of trying to get a fresh breath and live her life and figure out what direction she wants to go into. And her horse just decides to take off, and she gets her foot stuck in the stirrup, and she's hanging on by a thread. And who should save her but
She's our hero.
The one that she was supposed to marry to begin with. So, of course, they had their happily ending in book number 3. But along the way, she had a horrible mother-in-law who threatened to take everything that her husband had left her. And so the estate kept contacting her. And when she finally meets up with the person representing the estate, it's a William Dudley, who has just inherited the title of Viscount, which is what her former husband had. And she thought that he was still going to take everything away from her. So they become friends when she realizes that he's not that bad a person. So that's how that book sort of ends. I kind of fast forwarded it. So take off in book number 6, and William Dudley, who is not somebody who is very gregarious. He's kind of a loner in a lot of things. And in fact, he worked for the Crown and had been, he used to be very debonair, did a lot of dancing. He loved everything in the social realm, as long as it wasn't forcing him to be married. And but when he was injured, he had a grave injury on one of his cases, and about the time he got injured and he was healing, he found out that he'd inherited this title of Viscount. So he decides to finally take charge of the properties. And when he's up there investigating the properties, he had no intention of marriage, because he's deformed, his legs deformed from this previous hideous accident, and he just wants to be, at this point, alone. And who should he run into but the heroine, who actually falls into his arms. She's out looking for her dog, who had gotten away, and on this property over in Kent, and she's by the edge of the cliff, and steps into a hole and falls and barely hanging on, and he sees what's happened, so he goes down and doesn't know who she is, but that's how they meet. I mean,
fun.
Literally, how could you make that fun? I know. So I thought it was fun. And she's in trouble. The heroine is in trouble because her father died after he'd had this estate for a year, and his brother has consigned her to marry somebody that's just not very nice. And so and this guy is really, really horrible. I won't go into the plot of what's horrible about him, but it is it's a bad situation where he's into peddling something he shouldn't be peddling. And he wants her because he wants everything that he wants. But she has these two lovely grandmothers that are living, and that is so much fun to have these two older women who are actually
right.
They are so much fun. They one is her mother's mother and the other one's her father's mother, and so they're living with her in this manor house, and they get into everything that from gypsies to you name it, and they're into it, and so what happens is that as Bella and William have a friendship that starts blooming into something else, so does the danger that they've fallen into, because the gentleman that plans on marrying her starts to target William, and that in targeting William, he targets her as well. So they have to escape his net.
Scoundrel.
It is a scoundrel. He's a very big scoundrel, but I don't think I can make him into anything better than that nastiness that he is. So he'll probably remain a villain. I won't save his soul in another book or anything.
Sometimes a villain just needs to stay a villain. But it sounds like a lot of fun, and I love it when we get to see secondary characters get their own story, and get to revisit. It's like getting to see old friends again. I love those. So, very much fun.
Well, good. I hope everybody picks up a copy and enjoys it.
So the next book that comes out this week is Ella's book, and it's The Emerald Enchantress, and it's book 3 in the Silver Order series, right?
Right, correct. The Emerald Enchantress, it's a really fun adventure story. Takes place on a steamship in 1910. It takes you on an adventure sea journey from England to the Philippines. And it features a biracial countess who is after these magical healing gems to help her sick mother. And Darren Pierce, he's the heir to this powerful secret society, and he's also after these gems. So he has kind of ulterior motives at first, but he ends up kind of helping Amara, the heroine, and protecting her during this sea journey. So it's a really fun story, but it also explores a little bit more complex issues, like what it's like to be mixed race, and complicated feelings that the daughter of a colonized person and a colonizer would have. But if you're looking for a book that's a historical romance with a little bit more diversity, or you want to explore different locales, this is a great book for that. You definitely get a taste of the Filipino culture.
Oh, cool.
And what it's like to travel on a steamship in 1910 as well. And you also get that forced proximity trope is pretty big in this one, which is a lot of fun. And like my 2 earlier books, this book features the Silver Order, which is the powerful secret society that seeks out and protects ancient supernatural knowledge. And all my books feature them in some way. And it's kind of like a mini history of a secret society. And it, takes place at slightly different time periods. All 3 books are out now. So, they're all available.
You read through from the beginning to the end.
Yeah. So, it offers you just like a kind of a glimpse of, how their influence on different people is kind of what it's about. So.
Yeah. And this is Dragonblade Moonrise, is that right?
Correct, yeah.
You've got enough paranormal to make
it has, I guess, maybe more of a paranormal elements, I would say, instead of a fantasy, since it has the magical healing gems and a little bit more of the folklore, the Filipino folklore in the book.
But still set in the world we would expect it to be in that.
Right, exactly. And this 1910 on a steamship, and a lot of period details. So,
Oh, very cool. That sounds like big fun. Awesome. And this is the last book in the series, is that correct?
correct. Yes. I am thinking about continuing with the Silver Order, the Secret Society, perhaps doing, like an origin type story. And I'm thinking it would probably be not in like the Victorian era, because these books are kind of like the Victorian era-ish, although this one, the one in 1910, is Edwardian. But the Silver Order, I'd probably write something that took place in like ancient history, I think, if I,
Oh, fun.
But yeah, it's something I really love, the Secret Society, so I'll probably keep it going.
Well, The Librarians is like one of my favorite shows of all time, and every time you talk about it, it's what it sounds like,
Yeah, a lot of adventure and ancient history and magic kind of thing. Yeah.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. Well, and I love it when a series is out and you get the whole thing. You can just like Kindle Unlimited.
Absolutely. Just start to finish, right.
Great. Well, that sounds like so much fun. So the next book that comes out this week is Jude's book, and it's The Lion's Dilemma, and it is obviously a Lion's Den book. Jude, can you tell us about this one?
Yes, it is my fifth Lion's Den book, and the fourth in a series about a connected group of characters. In the second Lion's Den book, my heroine's brother was a secondary character. He became the hero of the fourth book, and the hero of this book is the Duke of Kempbury, Felix Seward, who was misguidedly bullying the heroine in the fourth book.
Oh no!
Having
a redemption arc.
Well, he does get his redemption, or at least make a deep apology, which was accepted in the fourth book. He believed the lies of his stepmother and stepbrother, and half brother, and rejected his deceased half brother's widow, leaving her in some pretty dire circumstances. But he comes through in the end, and I became quite fond of him writing that book, as you do. So I decided to give him even more reasons for his mistrust of women than his nasty stepmother, and so this book tells Felix's story. He goes to Mrs. Dove-Lyon looking for a wife because he was betrothed 10 years ago and was betrayed. Saw his lady with another man.
Aye.
And he doesn't trust himself.
There's no reason to look for love,
His mistake in not trusting Serafina, the heroine of the fourth book, it weighs heavily on his mind, but also he's fallen deeply in love with the newborn baby that Serafina and her husband have had.
Oh,
and he wants to marry. He doesn't want a duchess. He wants a wife who will also be his duchess, and he wants what his sister-in-law now has with her husband.
Yeah.
So, and Mrs. Dove-Lyon sends him to a house party, because house parties are so much fun. He arrives there and sees his nemesis, Adeline, the woman who betrayed him.
Oh, no.
And when he looks at the fact that there are only 4 eligible women at the house party, and questions the hostess and finds out that in fact only one of them is eligible, he realizes that the woman Mrs. Dove-Lyon has matched him with is Adeline.
Ugh.
Now, Adeline has also been sent there by Mrs. Dove-Lyon to retrieve some goods that were stolen from her. and she's an investigator. She solves problems for the Tong, and she's been doing this for 7 years since her husband died. So she's there with her 10-year-old daughter, and she sees Kempery and is absolutely devastated because he had, looking at it from her perspective, he had refused to listen to her when her evil twin.
Oh no, for real?
Oh
my goodness.
Put on a wig and masqueraded as her.
Oh man, it's like telenovela and Regency.
So so that's the story. It's an evil twin story, and which sort of links it into my twist stories, because it's the evil twin is a absolute staple of fairy tales, folk tales.
Yeah, well, that sounds like just a blast.
So there they go. Kempery meets her daughter and recognizes the general physiognomy and realizes that Adeline had been pregnant when they split up.
We have a secret baby too. Holy
we've
moly.
got a secret baby too. And then we've got the evil twin returns, and great drama. And I managed to get in a kidnapping because I am trying to avoid kidnappings. I realized that almost every book had a kidnapping. Mm-hmm. The one I've just finished, I made sure that the kidnapping fails, because one can get too fond of a trope. But in this case, the kidnapping worked, I think. So that's the Lion's Dilemma.
Oh, it sounds so much fun. I love a hero who's like just on the cusp of getting all squishy, when they want that family, when they want all those comforting kind of, they want all of those things, but they can't quite let themselves have it yet.
And I thought it was quite fun to have him being the one that's looking for a matchmaker.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. I've had a few reluctant heroes who have kind of been cornered by Mrs. Dove-Lion.
We'll take them too, but it's nice when it's the dude who's all ready for this stuff.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, that sounds like so much fun, and
it was fun to write. So it's short. It's a novella, mm-hmm. But like me, short but perfectly formed.
Well, that sounds wonderful. So the next book that came out this week is Alexa's book, and it is The Unforeseen Kiss. I almost said The Unforsaken Kiss, and that would not be right. It's The Unforeseen Kiss. And this is book 4 in Captivating Kisses. Can you tell us about this?
Yes, it's out tomorrow. It features Valentinian Worthington. The 10 cousins in this series are named after Roman or Byzantine emperors and empresses, and most of them go by nicknames. He does not like Valentinian, so he is Val. He's proven a fan favorite because he is quite the charmer, as he makes appearances in books 1, 2, and 3. And in fact, one reader questioned me, why is Val's story coming so soon? I mean, I thought you'd hold out till the end for him. But his dad has died. And so now this charming rogue finds himself a duke. So he feels like he needs to sober up, and he's got sisters to take care of and his grieving mother to take care of. And she's having a hard time with her husband's loss. And so she is going to lean on his aunt and have her come and stay at the country estate. Well, the aunt isn't coming unless she brings her 2 daughters, which means they're bringing the governess with them. And yes, I love a good governess story. And I love a story when the hero falls first and falls hard. And that's exactly what Val does. Eden is of the nobility. Her parents were very much a love match. Her mom had a riding accident early on in the marriage, and she gave birth to Eden, but she was never able to have any more children. So she was bedridden the whole time. But there was a lot of happiness and joy in their household until her dad passes away, and the new cousin comes in taking the title, and her mom passes away pretty soon after that. And he just wants nothing to do with Eden. Basically it's toss her out on her ear. You're on your own, chick. And so she has to find her way in the world. And this is her second post. The first post didn't work out. It was one of those men that thought he could diddle the governess, and she wasn't having that. So she has been with this family now with these two girls. They're in their teens, and very happy with them. And she's a little bit unconventional, for a governess. And so she comes to the estate and obviously meets the new Duke. And like I said, he thinks this girl is Duchess material.
Oh,
they become friends. She really doesn't have a clue that he's interested in her. And of course, in the meantime, she is beginning to pine for him. And, she thinks he is hot stuff, but there's no way a Duke is going to look at a governess. And so that's a lot of the book, as the friendship deepens and, forms, and then they finally get together. So.
Awesome. I love a good governess story. It's like, and like you said, the hero that falls first is like,
yeah, it's really cool. I love that. And the first romance that I ever read was a Victoria Holt, Mistress of Malin. And it was a governess, and she fell for a widower who had an 8-year-old daughter. And I just, ever since then, I've probably written 4 or 5 governesses over the years. And I just like to have those girls get their happily ever afters. Maybe it's because I was a teacher for 30 years. And so I, kind of relate to them somewhat.
Teachers deserve all the happily ever afters.
Yeah. They do. So anyway, it's the 4th in the series. We only have one more that's coming out this year. And then next year, book 6 through 10 will roll out.
And the next book is on pre-order now.
It is. It just went on pre-order yesterday. The cover, guys, the colors on it are just so pretty. It's called An Enchanting Kiss. And the heroine is in red. And this gown is sweeping. I mean, Dar always outdoes herself. Yeah. Every time I get a cover from Dar, it's just like, oh my gosh. She's just amazing. She's she does all of my historical and contemporary. She's probably designed about 120 covers for me now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah. She can just do anything. Yeah.
It is a beautiful cover. I got the notification this morning that it had gone up.
Yeah. And I have to ask you, are you watching the new Librarians?
Well, no.
Okay. Because you're the first person that I've even heard of that is even watching Librarians.
Where does one do this?
Well, I think it's on Netflix. I don't know. I'll check and I'll listen about it. But it's the next chapter. Basically, Noah Wiley's moved on. He's producing the show, but it's a whole different cast, and all of the mysteries and things are taking place in Eastern Europe. And so it's fun, it's just got a different cast, and I think they've gelled pretty well together. I think there's only 1 or 2 more episodes left this season. So I'll send you the information.
Send me the information.
You'll love it.
I love the Librarians, and I love the tone of it. And when Ella was talking about her books earlier on, it felt like, oh, that's it. It's kind of, not too swashbuckly, but, exciting with the looking for historical artifacts, magic-y kind of stuff, just the right level of the right level of magic-y stuff. So
it's a lot of fun. So readers out there, tune into the Librarians. I'll put it on my Facebook page. I'll let people know. Yeah.
Okay, that'd be great. All right. So the last book that we had come out this week didn't actually come out this week. It came out last week. It's Dayna's book, and it's a Lion's Den book. It is To Steal a Lion's Heart. Can you tell us about this one?
Yes. So this book takes place directly after the end of the first book, where we had Mr. Blakewood and Lady Amelia, and this is now her brother, who was hurt, severely injured, basically in the first book, and went through this radical surgery and everything. No one knows it's gonna live, but his eyes open. Someone's like, "Oh, his eyes are open." So this is 2 weeks later, where he's finally really lucid and waking up, and now he has to find out that his sister just bartered his marriage with Mrs. Dovelyon. That was the cost of her bringing in this special surgeon and saving his life. Was well, now he's mine. He's going to marry some mysterious woman that I'm not going to tell about. But he has to be healthy first. So now he's going through this long process of just physically recovering, but emotionally recovering. Because it was such a severe trauma. He just, he thought he was going to die. He's alive. He doesn't know what to do with that now. And now he has a future that's not his anymore. It's out of his control. So on top of that, because of Amelia's and Blakewood's hasty marriage, we now meet his sister, who is out traveling with friends and stuff. She becomes collateral damage and gets booted out of her traveling party.
Oh no.
Yeah, just like, bye, gone, drop her off at a coaching inn. She has to make her way to London by herself.
Oh man.
Which, she's a very sheltered girl, so this is terrifying.
That's a big
for
deal.
her. But she makes it, and she's actually really proud of herself. Her journey through this book is like the self-discovery of her voice and just her ability
fantastic.
to be an independent person. So we have the best friend's little sister and the brother's
fun.
best friend. And they kind of meet unexpectedly at night when she hears him, like, the thud. She goes to investigate. He's fallen on bed. She helps him up, and his goal is to recover faster than everyone thinks he's going to, so that he can then find a way out of this marriage that he doesn't want. So he kind of ropes her into helping him in secret, late at night in his room, to get better faster than they think he will. So that progresses into like this friendship where they're kind of both relating to how out of control their own lives are and how they're adjusting to it. And that, of course, leads to just liking, and she's so new and innocent, she doesn't know what to do with these feelings, because he is just gorgeous. He's like a Paul Walker. He's just this dreamy face, the blonde curls, but he's like got the banter, and everything he does is just very like roguish. And
How could you not fall in love with him? He's like, you just don't stand a chance.
Yeah. She doesn't know what to do with like this flirty banter. So once they start to fall in love, they can both see, well, this is an issue. Because what she hasn't told him is that she's already engaged to someone else. And the reason she's so inexperienced and doesn't know how to relate to a man at all is because this mother-in-law is extremely controlling of her, and they basically put her in a box. And she's just waiting for this fiance who barely sees her, doesn't even write to her. He's just gone all the time. She's just waiting for him. But now she has Lord Alston, Sam, who's just bringing out this person in her that she's learning to love about herself, essentially.
We need to fix this.
So nothing goes according to plan, of course, because they fall in love faster. They don't know what to do with it. And then they get caught. And they get caught by he's like an agent for Mrs. Devline. And he's been coming in, bringing in a nursemaid to tend to Sam. He's taking her back and forth, and he's checking on Sam and seeing what he's doing and reporting back to Mrs. Devline to see if he's ready yet to get married. But he catches Sam and Daisy in a kiss. And even though they try to hide it, he's like, well, what are we going to do? So Sam's just going to like out everything. But first he has to tell her brother. And the first thing Graham thinks when Sam tells him, I'm in love with your sister, I want to marry you, is like, you've seduced my sister.
Yeah.
So
because that's how we do the brother's best friend, is there always has to be that,
You're the perfect man until you want my sister.
Not good enough.
So they get through that because for once Daisy does stand up for herself. She voices this is what she wants. This is who she loves. Nothing else matters. But that's not the only obstacle for her. She still has to deal with
that other guy,
her mother-in-law, who's just awful. Like Cruella de Vil awful. Just you look at her and you're cold.
Oh no.
So and Mrs. Devline, who's probably the biggest hurdle of all. Because she made threats, not just against Sam, like, you have to marry this woman, I'm selecting for you. But if you don't, then his sister, his twin sister, is on the line for whatever debt she wants.
Oh, man. We got a lot of stuff to fix before we get her happily ever after.
So Sam goes to try to make another deal with Mrs. Devline because there has to be something she might want. So, but she throws him another curveball, and the nursemaid that she'd been bringing back and forth to help care for him was the woman.
No way.
To marry. Yeah. Her name in the book is not her real name. We learn it towards towards the end. But essentially, this woman is just traumatized by her small town life, a fiance who is super abusive and trying to force the marriage. So she went to Mrs. Devline for help. And Mrs. Devline's like keeping her safe. And in order for her to marry, she wanted to like see what kind of person Sam was.
Yeah.
It just become,
So now we need a happily ever after for her too. We can't just leave her hanging.
so Mrs. Devline tells Sam, all right, you're going to do this thing for me, this thing. Feels impossible because he's still recovering from a surgery. He's just an injured man. So Mr. Chase, the agent that was going back and forth, was like, well, I'll help you do it. And so they have to break into this house that is actually the future mother-in-law's house.
What could possibly go wrong?
She's got something that Mrs. Devline wants, for blackmail, for leverage, whatever, what she does best. So they succeed. They almost get caught. Sam almost gets hurt. Mr. Tristan Chase gets bit by a dog. But they make it back. And now they have this object, which is actually a diary. And so next, it's Daisy's turn to go to Mrs. Devline and be like, I want him. Let's make a deal. And Mrs. Devline says, well, here's this diary. It's your future mother-in-law's. Go take it to her. And they look in the diary, and it's this horrific plot that her name's Lady Claystone had regarding her son and Daisy and Daisy's family fortune.
Oh
They
my
weren't
goodness.
nobility, they were just wealthy merchants. So she goes it to Lady Claystone, and she's like, here's your book. And Lady Claystone's like, oh, thank you. I've been missing this. She's like, yeah, and I read it. And so she has a meltdown. Turns out her fiance, who is always gone, is there in the house with her, and he tries to convince Daisy, like, oh, we can make it work. But Daisy's like, no.
Oh, I love it that she stands up for herself. I love it when a heroine
Finally has the voice. She finally has the fight to just, this is what I want.
Fantastic.
No exceptions.
Fantastic. Awesome. Well, that sounds like a huge amount of fun. And there's one more connected to Lion's Den.
Yes.
Cool. Well, for those of you who love the Lion's Den and who doesn't, Catherine's writing Dusty Dove Lion's story. I'm so excited about it. We're doing it as a Kickstarter, and I'll make sure I put the all the information everywhere as soon as I have a live link for it. But Catherine's writing the story, and we'll do the fulfillment right at the beginning of next year. So it's like, I'm so excited. The cover is so good. It's the Lion Queen. I mean, it's just like it's everything I want. So I will make sure that everybody has access to that as soon as we have access to it. Ladies, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us today. I really appreciate it. We could keep going forever and ever because I love hearing about your books. I really do appreciate you taking the time to talk to us.
Thanks for having us as always.
It's been fun. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Grab your books on pre-order and release. Read them in Kindle Unlimited. There's no barrier to entry if you have a Kindle Unlimited subscription. You can just go.
Happy reading.
Thanks so much.
Bye.
Bye.